What's up, boozers?
An American Haunting.
An American Haunting.
2005. This is apparently based on true events, which I'm sure means that they...
I'm pretty sure I remember at some point in my life hearing about the Bell Witch.
Yes, yeah.
But I didn't know there had been a movie made of it, and neither did I know that it fucking starred Donald Sutherland. My favorite, formerly British, now Canadian, badass mofo who coughs blood all the time and has a voice like... Oh, it's like your ear is being fucked with a condom made of velvet.
Mm. It also stars Sissy Spacek, which you might remember.
As Carrie!
So Carrie is grown up, and now she's a mother to her own little telekinetic freak.
Mm-hmm.
Not really telekinetic, but there's a little twist about that in the end.
Yeah. The ending. Ooh!
Heavy. Very heavy.
The ending was really, really
intense.
For me, it depends on if you've had terrible experiences in your childhood, but it was very disturbing on my part.
Even if you haven't had terrible experiences, it is fucked up.
I suspected the twist, but they really, really, really play against it throughout the duration of the film. So when it finally comes, you're like, oh, so I was right, but they completely convinced me that I wasn't.
See, I thought the concept was great. The only thing I didn't like was...
the bitch slap. The ghost bitch slap. She's held up by her hair and slapped back and forth by a ghost.
And it's got the cheesy sound effects.
It's so funny.
It is hilarious.
It is so awesome.
Pretty hilarious.
But it's set in like 1817 throughout 1819 is when the main story is set, which is a flashback of a journal reading that some people from 2005 are reading, and it all connects together in the end, which was for me the most disturbing part.
Yeah.
To know in the end that ghost appears to say, help her.
Right.
This is all sorts of nasties.
Interestingly, I don't know if many people noticed in the beginning of the movie when the mom from the modern day is looking through the stuff that was found in the attic. There's a picture of the daughter who was haunted and the teacher, and they actually ended up getting married. Yeah, it's kind of like a
lucky
subplot.
her, this dude... Alright, so we looked him up on IMDb, and nowadays, I couldn't give two shits, but him in this movie... Jeez Lou fucking Louise.
He's concerned about her in the movie, about she's tired during school, and she doesn't play with other children, and she just seems disconnected. And initially, the family thinks that maybe it's him that's coming in and disturbing her, and they quickly realize that that's not the case. No. And at some point, it kind of calms down and leaves her be. It puts her in like a catatonic type state.
Yeah.
But it starts messing with the father.
You realize in the end a transfer of this psychosis from the trauma that has happened. They're trying to blame this other figure, which isn't really involved at all. She's just a crazy old witch. And we all know a crazy old witch, and what do? They feed their cats, and they go to Walmart, and they do their thing.
Sacrifice pigs.
Yeah,
no biggie.
Like they do.
No biggie.
I grew up in Missouri. That's basic standard life.
When I first watched it, which was years ago.
I can't believe I've never seen it until now.
But I thought that it was surprisingly good for what it was.
The special effects, I think, for the time, were poorly done. Also, a lot of the acting on the lower parts. Aside from the three main characters, the professor, the girl, and her father, I thought the acting was pretty...
Yeah, it was mediocre.
To say
it nicely.
And we understand that it's set in the early 1800s and that this was their style of life. There was no passion in it, and the life back then was a lot more difficult, and we think these people would have been expressing and feeling much more than was portrayed throughout the film.
IMDb gave this a 5.0 out of 10.
I think that's pretty low. I was very, very enveloped in the film throughout the duration of it and wanted to... There were parts where I laughed. Don't get me wrong.
Of course, yeah.
There were parts where I was laughing my ass off. In the end, it's not the one that's going to give you nightmares, but it does make you want to vomit.
It fucks you up.
It's definitely very effective as a sort of mindfuck movie, which I was surprised at. I didn't expect much from it, despite, knowing the cast and knowing that it had all this, effort and promotion behind it. I was pleasantly surprised.
It took me a few days to kind of think about it and mull it over in my head and come to terms with what I had watched. It was kind of intense for me at the time.
I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 7.5.
7.5.
I'm going high.
You're going up there. Mm-hmm. Going on up top.
7.5.
I give it about 7.5 to 8, somewhere in there. I think it was...
Just because it is going to sit with you.
It is, yeah.
Not super great special effects. Aside from the 3 leading characters, not the best acting you've ever seen.
It sticks with you.
The setting of it was very well done. The single shots they did, the speed shots they did of the spirit moving, how they cut to different colors and sound effects for the spirit moving throughout the house. They convince you in the end that this isn't really a spirit, it's a psychosis.
Yeah.
But they don't say it as that because... it's the 1810s, and they don't really understand Freud didn't exist back then.
Highly recommended.
Yeah, very much so.
Not for the faint of heart, for people who are triggered by that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Don't watch it. But otherwise, it's great. It's good to see at least once. Like, comment, subscribe down below.
We're going to keep coming at you, and it's
until
going to
we're
become
right where we
harder and harder and harder, and... eventually,
harder
it's going
to
be coming so hard that you're going to be screaming and laughing and crying all at the same time, which is what we're all going for.
So stay awesome.
And keep boozing.
Cheers!
Cheers!